Welcome on in, everybody. Today we are going to be doing a training for one of the debuffers that we are going to use in the upcoming Leo Cup, and hopefully maybe inspire some people to use similar tactics. Now, that being said, the pool of support cards out there that people have received over time is varying quite a lot. A lot of people have different support cards. Most people don't have the same support cards. So, naturally, we're going to be using the ones that we have. But I'll try to break down the choices that I make and why I did so that you can also take a look at the support cards you have and pick which ones that are available to you that will work the best. So let's get started. For this career, we are going to be doing an air groove. Now, I know a lot of people are using Nice Nature, and we are going to build a Nice Nature as well. If you tuned into my previous stream, you know that we did a bunch of Nice Nature runs, and we actually got a really good build with her, but we'll release a video on that tomorrow. Today, we're going to be building Air Groove not only to work as a debuffer, but ideally be able to compete as well. Now, she isn't our ace, so we're not expecting her to get first, second, or third, but it would be nice if we weren't just placing her in 9th place every single time. So to take a quick look at her, she has a in Turf, A in Medium, which is the track we're running on, and is a pace/late surger by default. We're going to be running her as a late surger, as for some of our skills that we're going to be using, we want to have her in the back mid-race. Her growth rate is 10% on speed and 20% on strength, which will be extremely helpful for this career. It's really nice when you can get your growth rates on these three instead of guts. I do like growth rate on wit as well. However, wit is a little bit easier to train than most of the other ones, as it doesn't take up energy, and in fact, it restores a bit of energy. She has a inherited 4 debuff skills. So flustered end closers, slightly increased fatigue for end closers mid-race, always a good one to have. Dazzling disorientation, narrow the field of view for runners behind when positioned towards the front late race. That's probably going to be one that will only proc every now and then, as we're going to have her as a late surger. So unless she gets to the very front by, that last corner, this one probably won't activate, but we're going to make that up by picking some other ones. And then hesitant end closers, decrease velocity of end closers late race, and disorient, narrow the field of view for runners positioned towards front. This is the lower version of dazzling disorientation. So the support cards that we're going to be picking are going to be based off the race itself. So this is going to be a 200 meter or 2000 meter medium race, and the thing to take into mind here is that some of the best runners in the Leo Cup are going to be Top Gun, Summer Marzensky, Saiyan Sky, and Summer Special Week. Sorry, completely left my mind there for a second. And besides Special Week, these are all going to be front runners. So we're going to want to have a good amount of debuffs for front runners, but we don't want to forget the rest as well. If anybody has done any racing in any of the previous Champions Cups, they know just as well as I do that there's going to be a random vodka or a random Narita Taishin that have been built to absolute perfection that will just obliterate you in the very last seconds of the race. So it's always good to make sure that your debuffers do have a bit of a mix of what is available to them. However, focusing on front runners is going to be the priority, because especially for runners like Saiyan Sky that have angling and scheming, if they are ahead at the end of the race, it's going to be very, very difficult to catch up to them. So anything we can throw at them that's going to slow them down is going to be very beneficial. For our guest Uma that we're going to be picking, because this is for the Leo Cup, so, we're going to be using the best options to our ability. I don't really have good legacy debuff characters, and frankly, unless you've been playing the game a whole lot, you probably don't have amazing legacy debuff characters either. So I'm going to be picking the legacy characters more based on the stats that they have to offer, and then I'll make up for those skills given the support cards. Now, if you do have an amazing legacy character that has increase in stats for speed, stamina, power, or maybe even wit, that does have some inherited skills that are going to work as good debuffs. You know, for instance, if I pick this nice nature, pretty decent ones that could possibly get inherited. However, it is important to also make sure that your stats are going to be where we want them. So I picked a 21-33 split for power and stamina with my, who was that? Not nice nature. Was that nice nature? That was nice nature. No, that wasn't nice nature. That was Grass Wonder. Grass Wonder. I chose a Grass Wonder, and she's going to be doing the heavy lifting for our stamina and power there. And then we're going to be using our tried and true 42-12 split Tokai Teo, who again isn't a fantastic debuff, as she doesn't have any debuff skills that we could potentially inherit. But overall, the skill spread is pretty nice, so we're going to be using that. This is going to be our split for the career, and now it's time to pick our support cards. Now, I already have these kind of mapped out a little bit. Naturally, we will be picking Akita-san Black, as having her speed bonuses are going to be immensely helpful for the career in general, as it also will boost our power. For our other support cards here, we're going with the 3 speed, 2 wit, 1 stamina deck. The reason we're doing this is we're going to be getting decent boosts in stamina from our legacy characters. The 33 from Grass Wonder, you know, it's not going to be maximum as I don't really have very good stamina sparks, but it should be good enough to get us a passable grade. For our other cards here, I picked a Gold Ship, as she has many skills, but she does have 2 debuffs: Smokescreen for long racers, and then Intense Gaze for end closers. This will be nice, as this will help us kind of tone down the obliteration from any Narita Taishins if this skill procs. Now, there's a lot to actually inherit here throughout the career, so, you know, we're kind of rolling the dice on whether or not we'll get it, but I needed an SSR speed card, and none of my other ones offer any sort of good bonuses. And then this is just going to be our Silent Suzuka. As you can see, no debuffs. I don't really have any other speed cards that provide any sort of debuffs, so we're just going to throw her in there. And then this is where the big skills that we want come into play here. And keep in mind, there are better skills to choose from. These are just what we have to work with. So for our wit card, we're going to be doing Fuji Kiseki because she has Trick for front runners. This is going to be very helpful. And then if we are towards the front mid-race, we'll have a chance of proccing this and debuffing Summer Maruzensky, Silent Suzuka, and even Saiyan Sky, etc., etc. Anybody that's racing as a front runner. For our health card, or our stamina card, we'll be using Satono Diamond. She has the Flustered Frontrunner skills, again, a Frontrunner debuff, and Tether for medium. And this is going to be if we're positioned towards the back late race. So that will, you know, potentially proc, since we are going to be running as a late surger. Depending on how these skills proc throughout the first rounds of the Leo Cup, we may be switching up the strategy as well. For our second wit card, we're going to be using Agnes Tachyon, as she has Tether for medium as well. Just potentially increase our chance of proccing that. Once again, if you have a different support card with other skills, I would suggest not doubling up and getting as many variety on there as possible, especially if you have multiple different front runner debuffs. But I do not. My support card stack is awful, and my legacy characters have been quite unlucky. So this is what we're going with, but that's the total breakdown, and I suggest you kind of pick and choose what you have and choose the best options for you and give it a few tries. You know, you might mix it up a little bit. You might swap out some of your speed cards. You might swap out some of your wit cards, etc., etc. But what's going to be really important about this air groove is that we don't forget to get her a high wit as well, as that's going to ultimately determine how frequently our skills are going to activate. So now that we have this build, let's go ahead, start this career, and see what we can come up with. All right, so starting off, this as a debuffer is going to be a slightly different run than we do in things such as our A-rank guides. We're going to want to be very cautious about not overtraining certain stats and making sure that we are taking the skill hints. So naturally, when nothing is popping up and we don't have any skill hints available, we will be choosing the best training options. But when we have skill hints, we're going to want to take them. Now, Silent Suzuka doesn't actually have any very useful skill hints for us. You know, she doesn't have debuffs. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to take it. She does have some skills that will be beneficial to us. So it's kind of worth it to roll the dice and see whether or not we will get them. We know Satono Diamond does have a skill that we want. So we're going to do the wit training here. We didn't get it, but that's where we have to make those choices. And, you know, you might end up training some stats that you weren't necessarily looking forward to, but ultimately this is going to be a debuffer. So make sure that we're not too focused on getting the stats maximum. Obviously, if you have really good support cards and really good legacy characters, you can plan on making your debuffer a top contender. But in our case, we don't. So we're going to be going for the skills just to make sure that she can help out our ace during the career or during the Leo Cup as much as possible. Stay put, we'll get more wit. We want to choose the options here that are going to give us wit and stamina. It is a 2,000 or 2,200 meter race. I think I said 2,000 earlier. It's a 2,200 meter race, so it's on the longer side. It's going to be a little more difficult than the Leo Cup, but we'll also be seeing quite a bit more variety of what type of Umas people are racing, and I think seeing those builds is going to be pretty cool. We're going to see everything from Sakura Bakashins with 900 stamina to freaking, you know, maxed out Symbole Rudolphs that somehow have 1,200 in every single stat. Some of you guys are crazy good trainers, and I love looking through what type of builds you come up with. So now we got a double stack speed on stamina. We'll take that. Always got to focus on getting those speed cards up. And now we have Edison Black. We do want to get corner recovery from her, which we just got. And then Professor of Curvature, if able. Stay until the lights go out. We'll do a little more training, get some Iron Will. And keep in mind, we're not using Super Creek during this, so we're not going to have Swinging Maestro. And that is going to be kind of the fate sealer when it comes to, I think, really placing with this character. If you have really good debuff support cards, I highly suggest swapping out your stamina card with a one unlock Super Creek to increase your chances of getting Swinging Maestro, as pretty much every character you're going to be racing up against is going to have Swinging Maestro, Professor of Curvature, Groundwork, and, you know, all the really good skills that you see from front runners and or end closers. So we're going to do power here because we got Satono and not Fuji, that's Airchipper. Oh no, that's Fuji Seiki. Oh gosh, the hairdos get me every single time. So see, we have a rainbow training with her, but we can do our power here and get a Satono Diamond. Maybe we'll get, I think it was Tether. Sunny Days again, bummer, but that's okay. This is where the training comes into play. We do these over and over again until we get what we want. I had kind of low energy, but not so low that I needed to worry about not doing a training the next round. So we went ahead and did a wit training here. Let's go ahead and we'll do our gold chip. Gold chip is going to be our most difficult card to get up to rainbow training, as she has a very low initial friendship gauge. We just have the general base version of her. So friendship gauge is pretty low at the beginning, unlike Edison Black, who starts out really high since we're borrowing her. Always choose the options that are going to give us a bit of energy back. Now we did get hit with slow metabolism, which is a bummer, but that's okay. You got to risk those. Getting that extra turn can be super helpful. We don't get it this time, but, you know, that's the risk you take when you choose those options that could potentially debuff you. Now, we didn't get the debuff there, so let's do the Super Creek training here on Guts. Straight away spurt. We might actually end up using that. And then we'll do another wit training with Kiseki, Mile Quarters. So we haven't got any of our debuffs yet, but we want to get rid of the debuff on us. So let's go back to the infirmary. Finally it cured. I was a little worried there that we were going to be looking at a couple of turns before we actually got rid of that. Okay, so we're going to flip our strategy back to late here. And we should be pretty solid going forward. We do want to make sure that we get our stamina card up too, since this is going to be a career that we do some long races in. And we don't want to fail. Getting through to the complete end and finishing the URA finals is essential to building really any competitive character. Both our red cards on speed, we'll take it. Get proper rest. Get that rest energy back every single time. Make some mochi, give us maxed out energy. And there we go. We can do stamina with those two. And did we get our... Nope, strategist. Not getting our debuffs yet, but we will. You might get lucky and get your debuffs on your very first try. We're not so lucky, really, ever. So, so you know, we'll make do with what we got. And we don't really have a good opportunity here, so let's go ahead and throw that into power. Max out Gold Ship. We're lucky to get her up to Rainbow Training as quickly as we did. We'll throw that into Stamina, and now Silent Suzuka will cap off in the orange, and we'll be able to do training with every single one of our speed cards. Up tempo from Agnes. And even though we do want to prioritize our debuffs, it's also very nice to be able to get skill discounts throughout the career. So even if you don't get what you're looking for, don't let it get you down. It's always good to have those discounts at the end of the career. Seiki, let's see if we get the debuff. Summer Runner. We got Summer Runner and Sunny Days. Well, it is going to be sunny, and it is going to be during the summer for the Leo Cup. So we might actually end up purchasing some of those green skills. And unfortunately, it's not a mile race, so we're going to be running a medium race, and S mile doesn't help us out too much, but, we don't have too many good peak sparks, so we do what we can. 5th place, we didn't get a whole lot of our training into speed. That's fine. We're going to keep going. What's important is that we continue to get through these races. And we'll do a writ training since we don't have anything fantastic here. This could be a good time to do a stamina training and get the Kitasan Black skill hint. We already have Professor Curvature, and that's a second discount for Corner Recovery. So in this case, we actually are going to go in and purchase Corner Recovery. We're going to save a lot of our debuff purchases until the end of career, because if we can get more discounts, then we can end up purchasing more skills. And the more skills we have on our debuffers, the better. Now with that, we should be able to place pretty decently. Excellent, there's first place. And we are moving on to the Shukasho. We got 9 turns, and we got summer training coming up. So what we're actually going to do here is take a rest. We want to have maximum energy going into summer training if we can. And nothing fantastic. So I'm actually going to do a speed training here because we use less energy when we have max speed. So that's going to help us out there. And we'll still be able to do a good amount of rainbow training. So 20, we can do the 36 on wit. Time to get our wit and our stamina up if we can. But, we got to take the 51s. I love the animation for Gold Chip there. Oh, adabate, whatever she says. She's got that sass vibe going on. So we got 2 good speed trainings in there. No other rainbows on our wit or our stamina so far. But that's okay. We got a 25 there. We're going to throw this into wit. We'll work on getting Tachyon's friendship up, because then we can double up our wit rainbow trainings. And we put a little more into wit right there as well. We'll take the 45 here. And then we're going to need to rest before the Shukasho and get 1 solid training in here. We don't want to fail anymore. We've already debuffed ourselves once, so... Let's see what we got here. Silent Suzuka or Gold Chip? We'll take Gold Chip, because remember, she does have a debuff that we want. Groundwork, that's a good one to have. Unfortunately, we're not going to be running her as a front runner, but it's still not a bad skill, so we might actually end up purchasing that. And if we end up changing up her strategy at all, it might become useful. So there's another first place. top 3 in the Suka show done, and now we got Osaka High coming up. Training, we're gonna take a look around. We'll throw this into speed since we have pretty maxed out energy. I know I generalize, it's not like actually maxed out, but you guys know what I mean. The 4 paladins. It's gonna give us some speed, stamina, and innate experience. Okay, this is a good time to do some wit training here. Get our Tachyon going there. She gives really good at training, so if we can do with rainbow training with Tachyon, that's gonna be super bonus for us. Bonus. Super bonus. Bonus. Oh my god. Do whatever you want. Oh wait, nope. You should have always choose the top option unless you really want Maverick. I got in the vibe there and was just thinking what sounded funny. Choose the top option there, otherwise it debuffs you. Or not debuffs you, it moves down you. Okay, so we can do the Kiseki on stamina. Cloudy days. No luck on the debuffs. But now we got our deluxe carrot Hamburg steak. Look at that. That's beautiful. I'm actually going to try making that one of these days. Flustered end closers. Good skill to have. We'll do another speed training. Get ourselves up to a B. I just absolutely love the way she says, oh! Skill by 20. And now we got a double 18%. We'll take it. We're going to need to rest before we do one good turn here. So let's get 50 energy back. And we can do another 41. We've been getting some pretty decent stacks here. Not bad. Not bad. I wish I got those double stack luck on our, you know, ace training. But it is what it is. First place, no problem. We do have corner recovery. That's going to carry our stamina quite a bit here. We got first place in the Osaka High. And we should have a legacy training coming up here pretty soon where we get our inspiration right now. Ooh, it's been a while since I've done a training with her, and I called it, baby. Excellent. Already had a smile, but always good to get those sparks. It just feels good. It's like getting a rare drop. Okay, so we can do a 38 for 20. Nope, we're going to do the 23 wit here. Again, we want wit high so we can proc those skills. It's going to be very important. Kiseki skill here. Or I guess it's an event. You don't always get skills. We've got so many discounts on cloudy days so far. We're gonna be amazing running in any weather at this point. Tachyon and stamina. We need stamina. And there is that tether skill we were looking for. We'll take a rest and then do one solid training before the Takarazuka Keenan. And 33 into wit. We love to see that. Now let's take a look. We actually can buy some stuff because we have really good discounts. We're going to get Subdue Front Runners 10% off. No. We'll get Tether Medium and Dazzling Disorientation. End closers, Subdue Front Runners. I mean, that is a solid amount of debuffs to have right there. And with solid wit, this is going to be quite a formidable debuffer. Everybody's going to have so much stamina in the Leo Cup that being able to take down those front runners as much as possible is going to be extremely helpful. We just won by 6 lengths ahead of Silent Suzuka there, who is in fact a front runner. Now we can throw some more into stamina. No rainbow stamina there, but it's okay. It's going to give us good speed or good stat bonuses anyway. We'll do a speed, bring us down to half. Now, unless we get a fantastic speed, nope. We'll do the stamina training for 22. And then maybe one wit training. Oh, nope, sorry. I miscounted. That was the last one before the Sapporo Keenan. 2,200 meters is not going to be too much of a challenge for us. This is actually a relatively similar track to the Leo Cup race as far as distance and track goes, but we will need a bit more stamina for those extra 200 meters. You'd be surprised how big of a difference those extra 200 meters make. Now we got 3 turns before the Autumn Tenno show. We'll take a good rest here. Running style is going to give us late surger savvy. We're going to be a late surger. We'll take the 21. We're going to be pretty low on our speed this time, but that's okay. If you get better stacks than me, phenomenal. My wit, my stamina, and my power are pretty much where I want them. I would have liked to have higher speed. However, you know, power would have come up with speed. We didn't get fantastic speed stacks. You know, we got a couple 2s, but no 3s. And those were kind of early on, so we didn't really have high level speed to make the most out of the points earned. But that's fine, because keep in mind, we're not training this Uma to be a ace. We're training her to use her debuffs as much as possible. And having a 600 there in wit is going to do just that. Normal move, that's fine. We're gonna just kind of crank everything else we got into speed. Probably won't get up to an S speed unless we get some crazy stacks here. But again, our other stats are exactly where we want them. So let's do the 31 there. Our mood went down, so once again, we're not gonna be getting the buff that we normally would have liked to see at this point. Let's do a rest and recover, because we were going to have to rest anyway, but this will give us some energy back, put us up to a good mood, and we can get maybe 2, possibly 3, depending on if we want to risk it training since before the end of this career. 4th place, not fantastic. We'll do that once again. 3rd place, once again, not fantastic. We'll do that again. And there's our 1st place. We did have kind of a sour mood, so that can potentially be a factor here. Now our stamina is at 505. It's not bad. It's not the best, but it's not bad. And we should be able to compete pretty solidly with it. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at our skills, since we had to use a bit of our options there as far as redos. And let's do late surger savvy. We are a late surger. And then we'll also purchase let's get this lay low. We are a late surger, so jammed ahead early race could potentially benefit us quite a lot. And having that extra stamina recovery right at the beginning there is going to be nice. A lot of people don't like to buy that skill. I think that's because a lot of people run with front runners and pace chasers, so they don't really have to deal with that. But, you know, that's fine. If you don't like it, and maybe you're even using a super creep, you can go ahead and do even better with Swinging Maestro or even Gourmand, depending on if you're using, let's say, a special week as a legacy character. Obviously, both of those are going to be better options, but I don't see really anything wrong with the Iron Will skill tree either, especially when running a late surger. So now we're going to get some of our bonus points here. We're going to be just shy of an S rank in speed. And we get the +5 at the end there. And our final stats, we got a 938 in speed, 551 in stamina, 850 in power, 691 in wit. So ultimately, I know that competitively speaking, you're really out of luck if you don't have close to max speed, but that's fine. Once again, this is just a debuffer. I don't really need to see her cross the finish line in any way whatsoever. I don't mind if she's in last place. Ultimately, she's going to be helping out our bourbon. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm obviously going to train this one a bit more and try to get the ultimate stats of maxed out speed, but my stamina and my wit right now are exactly where I want them. I'll be doing that live on stream on Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, the 30th. The 30th. I'm also going to be training on Halloween night as well. So for our final purchases here, I believe we got all of our debuffs. We did. Let's get groundwork. Let's get, I believe we have good pace chaser. We can get corner velocity, but that's got 245 to work with. It's summer. Let's throw summer on there, and let's throw corner adept on there. It is going to be a summer race, so that could potentially help us out with placing. It's not going to be a game changer or anything like that, but if we end up racing this one, you know, she probably won't do too well just because of her speed. But I'd like to think we're going to be having the same skill tree with her. This is going to be around a B, B+. B+, very high B+, actually pretty close to an A. Power Spark. So these are our final skills. We've got Subdue Front Runners, Hesitant End Closers, Dazzling Disorientation, Flustered End Closers, Tether. These are going to be great for us. And I would probably purchase these same skills during another run where we get higher speed. So ultimately, expect to see me racing a similar air groove, just with slightly higher stats in the upcoming Leo Cup. And definitely tune in for the 2 streams that I got coming on the 30th and the 31st, both starting 7 p.m. Pacific time. Hope this helped you guys out a little bit and give you some ideas for what you might want to do for some of your debuffers. So feel free to leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you have any advice, leave it in there as well. I'm not a perfect guy, and I'm not a perfect PvP racer either. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and thanks again for watching. Have a great day.
ご苦労だった。これ